Sunny Hostin, her husband accused of committing federal insurance fraud in a lawsuit. Emmanuel Manny Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon and husband of The View co-host Sunny Hostin, is accused in December lawsuit fraudulently billing insurance. By the way, this is a Daily Caller story I'm reading. The lawsuit alleges Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services in exchange for kickbacks and or compensation, and names him among nearly 200 defendants in one of New York's largest RICO cases.
It's fucking hilarious.
The camera finds a desk buried in documents, dates, dollar signs, and one name that keeps resurfacing: Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin. Across the screen, the number flashes like a siren: $450 million. This isn't rumor, it's a civil RICO complaint filed in New York, a case so sprawling it ropes in 180-plus defendants and accuses parts of the city's no-fault ecosystem of turning injuries into industry. Tonight, we follow Rogan's satire and PBD's spreadsheets into the fine print, because when $450 million hits the chyron, the story stops being gossip and starts being evidence. This video uses public domain clips and news reporting for commentary, education, and analysis. All claims in the lawsuit are allegations unless and until a court rules otherwise. Enter our two unlikely co-narrators of the moment.
Hostin's attorney Daniel Twites denies the allegations, calling the lawsuit a meritless attempt by a near-bankrupt insurance carrier to intimidate doctors and restrict healthcare benefits. The case involves claims that Hostin performs unnecessary surgeries on patients after minor accidents without exploring less invasive treatments, with American Transit citing New York's 1974 no-fault law as contributing to widespread insurance fraud.
She's ideologically driven, and they have blinders on. Is certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and it was totally baked and half baked, and you went on stage with it and just fucking, it's nothing
Just
there.
go. The studio lights are too bright for a simple TV spat. On one side of the timeline, you have The View, a daytime pulpit that lectures America on ethics. On the other, a December lawsuit sprawling with names and numbers big enough to make a CFO sweat. And standing between them, two very different narrators of the moment: Joe Rogan, who turns contradiction into a punchline, and Patrick Bet David, who audits the drama with spreadsheets. So Sunny usually tells America how to behave, but this time it's her own family in the spotlight. Subscribe now, because you won't believe where this goes next.
I've been waiting my whole life for this one. Orthopedic surgeon and husband for The View host Sunny Hostin has been named in a federal lawsuit alleging insurance fraud. She got on television. She got in. She run these women. Tell me why she got her husband is named in a lawsuit in insurance fraud, and I'm gonna show you exhibit. Let me say exhibit B. Can you show this to the jury? Roll it, Nick.
You know, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance. And they're talking about threatening him with insurance fraud. I would say you could get about 20 years in prison, so that's a death sentence for him.
What she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out.
Rogan hears the headlines and smirks at the contradiction. PBD reads the filings and asks the unglamorous questions. Who approved what, when, and why do the numbers behave like design, not accident? Meanwhile, the public spotlight swings to Sunny Hostin of The View, because the doctor named in that lawsuit is her husband. His attorney pushes back hard, calling the claims meritless, allegations, not verdicts, and says a struggling insurer is strong-arming doctors. That's your ignition point. Daytime moral sermons colliding with docket numbers and sworn statements. If the image is immaculate, the paperwork shouldn't rattle it. And yet here we are, where a talk show brand meets a federal RICO playbook on live TV delay. Stay with me, because next, Joe Rogan turns this into a dark comedy of media virtue. Back in the studio, he tilts his head.
Yeah, I saw you on The View.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days.
Yeah, is that annoying? It is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies-infested hen house.
Rogan plays it like a nature doc. He describes a set engineered for applause loops, a panel addicted to pre-baked certainty, and then steers straight into the paradox you can't unsee. A daytime pulpit that polices everyone's ethics while its co-host's household sits next to a $450 million civil RICO filing, which the defense calls meritless. It's a tragic. The sermon is crisp. The paperwork is louder.
I think Sunny is very intelligent, but she's ideologically captured.
Right.
You know, that's what I think. The other ones, there's a couple of the other ones don't have to name any names. Who are just very dull-minded. But I think Sunny's not one of them. I think she's smart but captured.
When I was on there, I really had no idea how it was going to land with the audience. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way. And I responded to it in the moment, as I do.
Rogan's humor is the scalpel, not the hammer. He even credits Sunny's intelligence, then points out the ideology box that keeps the show from booking the sharper, more dissenting voices it says it wants. The result is accidental theater, a program selling progress while serving a thrusting, retrograde format that rewards certainty over scrutiny. The laugh lands because the math doesn't. If you preach the law by day and share a roof with a named defendant by night, the audience will do the arithmetic for you. Next up, Patrick Bet David takes the gloves off and brings the calculator. How would a $450 million civil RICO machine actually run referrals, billing flows, shell logistics, if it ran at all?
It's just The View. Just a person, the Sunny Hostin that we all love from one of my favorite shows on The View. And it's always, Tom, what'd you always say? It's always the people that always do the pointing. And it always comes back to them, all right? So when you said, this is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York. You guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia.
The camera cuts to PBD like an auditor walking into a noise complaint. No violin, just a calculator. He repeats the headline that set the room buzzing. A civil RICO complaint in New York. Nearly 200 defendants. A price tag flirting with $450 million. On the other side of the table, defense counsel calls it meritless, a play by a struggling insurer to intimidate doctors. 2 stories, 1 docket.
Here's all I hear from her. America's violent, America's racist, America's bad. Okay. I challenge you, Sunny, and this is Constantine Kissin actually was saying something about this. Find me a country that's not racist. Find me a country anywhere in the world that wasn't founded on violence. Find me a country that is perfect. Find me a country that doesn't have any issues. So when you're comparing America to Utopia, yeah, we're going to look pretty bad. But if you compare America to literally every country on the history of the world, we're doing pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And not only pretty damn good, we're the greatest country to ever exist.
The camera cuts to PBD like an auditor walking into a noise complaint. No violin, just a calculator. He repeats the headline that set the room buzzing. A civil RICO complaint in New York. Nearly 200 defendants. A price tag flirting with $450 million. On the other side of the table, defense counsel calls it meritless, a play by a struggling insurer to intimidate doctors. 2 stories, 1 docket.
You're married. Tom, you're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to some nefarious stuff. But let's just not forget who she is. She's been, for years, lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures. And look at her track record. How many times does she have to go on in the past 2 months and look at the camera and do a legal apology for all the stuff that she said on the show? The Holocaust, World War III, and slavery. And I don't know if you guys forgot, she was on that PBS show, Finding Your Roots. They did the background check. Her great-grandfather owned slaves.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
It's like the biggest hypocrite.
Systems that large don't happen by accident, so either A, there's a durable, hidden machinery that regulators somehow missed, or B, an insurer leveraged RICO to swing above its weight in a public brawl. Both possibilities sting for different reasons, and with Sunny Hostin framed on every Chiron by association, while her husband denies the claims PBD's audit turns into a mirror, if the sermon on daytime TV is about justice, the spreadsheet wants to know how it works at scale. PBD's audit leaves the whiteboard smoking, and the camera swings back to the brand that lives under studio lights, Sunny Hostin.
I agree with mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do.
The tape rolls of Sunny Hostin on air. Only 31% of Americans trust healthcare. Big corporations squeeze doctors, and then the personal note about her husband treating patients who lack insurance and having to sue carriers to get paid. It's a human frame, delivered under studio lights. Moments later, the room changes temperature. Rogan calls The View the show people watch to roll their eyes.
Yeah, I saw you on The View.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days.
Yeah, is that annoying? It is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies-infested henhouse.
This is the paradox the audience can't unsee. A daytime pulpit colliding with a docket number. The brand says ethics, the backdrop demands answers. And the longer Sunny stays off mic about the case, the more the court of public opinion writes its own verdict, sometimes with a smirk. Maybe legal counsel advised silence. Maybe PR is timing a response. Or maybe, as some viewers whisper, the show is waiting to see which way the wind blows. Either way, the next line has to be hers.
The real fans of The View that are like, oh, these ladies are on point. Most of those people can't leave the house.
South African president paid a visit to the White House yesterday, which turned into a surprise presentation on conspiracy theories of a white genocide in his country.
I think the problem with that show is that show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in. And they always bring on a token conservative woman and they yell over her and silence her.
So between ambushing Zelensky and this, why would world leaders continue to come to the White House?
Well, their audience is not really their audience. Their audience is a group of people they bring in to watch television shows. If you've ever seen audiences before for TV shows, a lot of them are paid because they have to guarantee that there's going to be people there. So there's services that you hire.
This is the problem with getting all your information from Laura Loomer and Elon Musk. This is what they're going to deal you.
It's a very strange show.
After all, Rogan supplies the laugh that exposes the crack. PBD brings the ledger that measures it. Together, they create a double exposure of image versus evidence. Not a verdict, but a stress test on trust. Stay with me. Do you see hypocrisy or overreach? Drop your take, then let's land the message.
Anna went in a different direction. But I love the fact that, Manny is younger and he's
How much younger is he?
Just a little bit.
He's like 1 year, isn't he?
Like a month or a year or 10 years?
No,
5 years.
It's more than a year.
Oh.
Anyway, it's not about me. I think.
Oh, no.
I think that it's very helpful that he's handy, and when we travel, I'm not picking up any bags. He's the one that's hefting them overhead. He throws the garbage out.
Right.
He does the heavy stuff.
Well, it's a dumb way of addressing a thing and to immediately say that someone's been co-opted with no evidence whatsoever. There's nothing about anything that you say that seems right-wing. You're just objectively looking at these subjects and giving a very intelligent...
The montage flips fast. Sunny's softer daytime banter about Manny. He's handy. He lifts the bags, plays under studio lights, then crossfades into the cold type of a $450 million civil RICO filing. The contrast is the story. On one track, a pulpit about virtue. On the other, a docket that won't blink. Rogan steps in as the audience's smirk, calling out how quick some pundits are to label people co-opted with no evidence, and how The View can reward half-baked certainty over hard questions. PBD is the counterweight, not a zinger, a spreadsheet, scale, systems, and the Fortune 500 test. Around them, other voices pile on. Critics frame Sunny as elite and out of touch. Influencers toss on-air barbs about legal notes and under investigation.
Sunny Hostin, I think, went to Notre Dame. Her son's at Harvard. Her daughter's at Cornell. She's married to the Ivy League, and that's why she looks down on everyone else as a bunch of stupid losers who didn't vote the right way because they're not as smart as she is. I spent many years across from Sunny Hostin on the set of Bill O'Reilly. She is not as smart as she thinks she is. In fact, I defy you to show me one debate we ever had that she won. There isn't one. So I'm not done with the Charlie Kirk homage.
Oh boy.
We put together a little bit of you on your college tour just so the audience can see some of the hard work you were.
As if the music industry is this great moral place, there are tons of convicted felons in the music industry, working the music industry at these record labels. Does she listen to rap music?
If Sunny's not careful, her husband's going to be one of them.
Her husband. Excuse me, Sunny, your husband. Exactly. He's under investigation. Sunny's going to have to be on that show like, I have a legal note about my husband.
Outside the studio, the echo chamber grows teeth. Megyn Kelly frames Sunny as Ivy League insulated. Lauren riffs that she'll need a legal note about her husband. In the scroll of social media, the theme lands harder than any insult. When elites teach ethics, the audience now flips to receipts.
I know you saw this clip. Her disgusting, gross elitism and her complete out-of-touch nature with respect to the rest of the world. Sunny Hostin goes on The View and decides now would be a great time to dump all over the so-called uneducated, not non-college educated, the uneducated, which is what you are in Sunny Hostin's view, including you, Charlie Kirk, because she's conflating, right, people who didn't go to college with people who are.
Put together, it reads like America's media paradox in one split screen. Sermons versus scrutiny, branding versus bookkeeping. That's the double hit on Sunny's image. Joe's irony exposes the crack. Patrick's numbers measure it. And for viewers tired of being lectured, this is less a feud than a trust audit. Do you see hypocrisy or media overreach? Hold that thought for the final message.
So, I don't love you, but I also hate that squawking bird. So I hate the whole thing. And frankly, that show, you want to talk about a show that set women back, is The View. You want to talk about that show. If the CIA is engineering, Antifa and fucking the Capitol riot, some crazy misogynist engineered The View, because there's nothing worse than The View. In terms of there are so many brilliant women out there. None of them are on The View. None of them have gone near the set of The View. I mean, they have brought in the lowest tier of the, what is it, the Y chromosome?
No, double
the
X.
Okay.
Double X.
These are people who should not be allowed out of the house. They have a national platform. I mean, it is crazy. They have no idea. These people have never read a book.
And there's versions of it.
A $450 million civil RICO filing naming Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin smashed into a daytime pulpit built on virtue talk that was the spark. From there, Rogan's dry satire exposed the image gap, while PBD's numbers stress-tested the scale. If a machine that big exists, where's the machinery? And if not, why swing RICO this hard? But step back and the bigger picture comes into focus. This isn't a guilty or innocent episode, it's a trust audit. How should we judge media that polices everyone's ethics while its own stars face uncomfortable headlines? When does sharp commentary become reckless speculation? This video features commentary based on publicly aired segments from Joe Rogan, Patrick Bet-David, and verified media coverage involving Sunny Hostin and related news events. All references are drawn strictly from public sources. No private or speculative information is included. The content fully complies with YouTube's community guidelines and fair use policy, intended for commentary, critique, and analysis. And if this perspective gave you something new to think about, make sure to subscribe. The next chapter in this story could be even more explosive. Thanks for watching.